And the name of the company is TC's Place. That stands for me. Terran Carver is my name, but I don't go by Terran Carver, so I go by TC, and I just call it TC's Place. But yeah, the shop is kind of a. I didn't really know what I used to build race cars, and then when I quit doing that, I built this shop, and I really didn't know what I was going to do out of it at first. So I would have probably laid it out a little bit different than I did, but I didn't really know if I was going to be working on tractor trailers or a big semi truck. So it's pretty high ceilings, and so I really didn't know. So I ended up making it a hot rod shop basically. So I've got a lift in it. I've got a surface plate that, because I got used to building race cars off the surface plate, and it makes it so much easier to do chassis work and get things level and straight if you have a chassis plate. So I made it's a homemade plate, but it's on the floor, so I can actually park on it if I have to. And then if I want to set up a chassis, I can set up a chassis to it. I can weld down to it. I can pull a chassis back straight because I've got something to tie to. So, but that's what I do. I build from the ground up if that's what the customer wants. You know, we'll do modifications on chassis, do all the welding, fabrication on the metal, the sheet metal bodies, get all those, you know, really straight again, new metal. Because most of the stuff, you know, if you're doing a hot rod, a lot of it's in 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, so it's pretty beat up, pretty wore out, pretty rusted. So yeah, gotta make it new again, and everybody that basically wants a hot rod or street rod, they want it perfect. So, you know, you gotta do, you know, real good body work. I do all the body work, paint, every phase of it, wiring, install the motors and transmission. If they want AC, we put AC. If they want electric windows, we put electric windows, electric seats, anything, any of the modern stuff to make the stuff drive better, handle better, and comfortable. And I've been doing it out of this particular shop for going on 20 years now, in the same building, same shop. So. Yeah, the Cobras, I don't know how I got into building Cobras, but I've probably restored at least 3 real Ford Cobras from the ground up. I mean, absolutely from the ground up. And of course, they're aluminum bodies, so we strip them down to bare aluminum again, do all the repair work, all the welding on the aluminum, get it good and straight, hammer and dolly on it, make it really good and straight, and completely restore those cars like they'll be better than they were when they were brand new, when they leave the shop. And I've actually built one vintage race car out of a 65 Cobra for a doctor, and he used to vintage race this car, and real fast car. They clocked him at 187 at Watkins Glen, so it's a pretty serious, you know, race car. And being a real Ford Cobra, so these Cobras were hand-built cars over in England, and you know they have a crew of people building these cars, and they're built over wooden bucks, and they're hammered and shaped over hand shaped. So if I'm building one, if Joe Blow over here is building I'm building a left fender, another guy's building a right fender, they're going to be a little different because they're not stamped, they're not a production car, they're a hand-built car. And so when you start measuring and looking at the cars, it could be totally different. So, and then a lot of these Cobra guys, they want them near about perfect. So, you know, you got to just, you know, sometimes reshape the metal. And then some of them have been wrecked so bad through the years because they ran great, but they didn't handle that good because they didn't have that good of brakes and, you know, the big motors. So a lot of them got crashed pretty bad. I've done some Maseratis, and some of those have been aluminum body cars. Some high dollar Mercedes, some high dollar BMWs. So whatever a customer brings to me, you know, I might not know much about it at the beginning, but you end up learning on the car, you know, so that's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. I just like trucks, and I've always have liked trucks. And the Ford trucks I like better than Chevys, basically, in the 50s. Especially in the 50s, I think the Fords just look better, and you can build a more solid truck out of them, I think, sheet metal wise. And I've always liked the 56 trucks. Currently I'm building a 56 big back glass truck for a customer. Just about finished this real nice truck. And we're building it the way he wants. It's got a Chrysler 392 Hemi with some aftermarket heads, hot heads or aftermarket heads. So it's going to be a real hot rod truck. But you know, electric seats, electric windows, just brand new. The chassis has been boxed in. New suspension front and rear, disc brake front and rear, just absolutely brand new when it leaves the shop. And then I'm building the same kind of truck myself for a big back glass 56, but it's more of a budget build, but it's going to be a nice truck.